Hello yourself, hope all is well your end. Now this is a new module that we are going to be studying. It's called MotorBont and it's made of three different topic areas, but it's under one theme. So the theme is going to be a car showroom or a car shop, and in this module we're going to be using a database. We're going to be creating a spreadsheet, and we're going to be using a little bit of game development software called Kodu Game Lab. Now we're just going to run through this very quickly with you. Most of the lessons will not be live for you yet because you haven't got onto them. But essentially the first part here, the database module, we're going to be looking at lesson 1 today, and then obviously lesson 2 after that, and there might be a third one here after. It depends on if we're going to be back in school or if we're going to be still remote learning. The spreadsheet module then is made up of 4 parts, where we look at creating a basic design, and then we'll email it to one another. So we'll use our email skills, and then we're going to make a final design. And normally we do a spreadsheet challenge within the spreadsheet module. Now this will depend on if D&T are available as well at the same time as us, because what we normally do with this module is we normally link up with design technology. If not, then we'll go straight on to the Kodu Game Lab, which is a lovely game development software, and I'm going to set you a little task with this. Unfortunately, you will need to be in school for this part because with the software that we use is only available on Windows computers. So this is a really quick overview of what we're going to be doing, and this is going to basically take you into lesson 1. So what do we do in lesson 1? Well, if I just click on this block here, what you'll see is obviously this video which you're watching now at the moment, but you'll notice there's a link to presentation, and there's a link to an extension task, and there's links to car search websites. Now the first task that you are going to do is you are going to be performing a little bit of research with me. The research is where you are going to be finding information about cars. Now these can be cars of your choice. In your teams, your teachers will have added an assignment, and inside that assignment you will see a PowerPoint Pupil Booklet that looks something like this. You'll need to put your name on the front here, and then you will see inside this booklet there'll be a few headings of things like cars you need to sell, find 2 cars under £500, find cars over 50,000, and then you'll notice there's grey pages here for the extension tasks. Now what do you do with this? Well, this is what lesson 1 is all about. Now I'm just going to open this presentation here. You will have access to this, so everything that I go through you will also have access to. So the first part is where we think what actually is a database. Now I'm going to give you a few seconds and I want you to think if you've got any ideas what a database could be, or where a database might be used. Now you might not have heard of this term before. Just break it down. A data and base. So I'll give you a few seconds. Just have a think. What is a database and where might it be used? Okay, so hopefully you've had a quick think about that. And a database is essentially a place where data is stored. It's a base where data can be stored, so hence the term database. And we use databases a lot in school, in our everyday lives. In fact, you use one of the biggest databases pretty much every single day. So I've got a few questions that I would normally ask you if you were in the lesson, so try and answer these on your own. Just have a think of them. What's the biggest database in the world? Just have a think about that one. What databases are there around us, and what do you think we can do with a database? And I'll give you some answers in a moment. Just have a think of those 3 questions whilst we get into this first part. Okay, so the biggest database in the world, that's an easy one. Google. Google is typically a large database where we can search for different things, and obviously then it will come up with lots of different results. what databases are there around us? Well, in school we have a pupil database which has got all of your details on there. It'll have things like exam results, any reports or anything like that on there. In our phones we have contact databases where we've got numbers for people with their names and so forth. Your computer logins are stored on a database, so when you log in, it's basically looks at the database to make sure that you are in there. You've probably found that if you've entered your username or password incorrectly at one point, then the computer will say, no, that's not right. Well, the reason it knows that is because it's searching the database. So it's searching to find our data. And obviously then that answers the last part. What do you think we can do with it? Well, there's lots of things we can do with the database, but the main thing is searching, and we can sort data as well. Okay, but there are other things we can do, such as creating reports from our data. So that gives you a really brief introduction to what a database is. A database is just a storage area of data. So in this project, you are going to be modifying an existing database, and essentially I'm going to be setting you a number of tasks along this database project, where you're going to be looking at a database that we've made, and you are going to be sorting and searching for it. I am going to set you one task though later on. It's going to be in probably lesson 2, where you're going to be looking for errors in a database. So that'll be something fun that we'll do right at the end of that lesson. Okay, so the first part is this, your pupil booklet. I've already introduced this. This will be in your assignments area in Teams. When you click on it, you'll notice it says paste a screenshot here, paste a screenshot here, and I'm asking you to get car, make and model information. Okay, these 5 attributes are the things that I'm going to be looking for you to do. So what do we need to actually do with it? Well, I'm going to ask you to go to a car website. Now, it can be a car website of your choice, I don't mind. However, what I've done on Moodle here for you, I've put 2 links. One is to somewhere called AutoTrader, and the other one is for Parkers. So if I click on AutoTrader for a second, let's just open that one. And what it's going to ask you to do is it'll ask you to search for a car. Now you can see it's put a postcode in here for me. If you don't know of your postcode in the house, put the school's one, SA48PD, and then you can search within a few miles. Now I would keep it as open as you can, and then leave that to any. You can change the price in here if you want, I don't mind, and then click on search once you are happy. Now if you wanted to search for a certain make or model of car, you could use this make drop down here, and you could look for every type of car. So for example, if I want to look for every Audi, I could click on this Audi and then click on search. Now what I want you to do is have a look then at the results that have come up, and the first part is where you are going to take a screenshot of the results. So if you look here, I've got a room there for a screenshot, and I've got car information. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot. Now on my computer, I'm just going to take a screenshot here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it in here. And as you can see, it's put the information there for me. Now what am I going to do? Well, the next thing I need to do is put the car make, the car model, the colour, the type of fuel and the price of it. So let's do this first one together. If I make this a little bit smaller and move it over to the side. So the first thing is the car make. Well, a car make is an Audi, and I know that because the name of it is there, look, Audi, and the model of it is actually an A1, so that's the next part there. So let's put that one in. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. Audi A1. The colour, well, it's a grey, so I'm going to put grey in. And the type of fuel, so is it petrol, diesel, electric or hybrid? Well, if I look here, look, it's got diesel, so I'm going to put it's diesel. And the price, Well, the price there, look, is at the top, 10,590. So I'm going to go here, £10,590, put in there. And then what I would do is I would start another search and then put the screenshot in. So I wouldn't then do the next one down and the next one down. What I would do is I would then search again. So I can change these parameters here. So I'm going to change from an Audi this time, and I'm going to go for a Volkswagen. Now again, I'm going to have a quick look through, see which one takes my fancy, and this lovely blue one here, this Polo, takes my fancy. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in then to my second part here. Okay, so that's put in there. Great. Now you can obviously paste into here as well if you need to. And then you can do exactly the same there by looking at the car, make and model and the different attributes here. So your first main task is this. I need you to open up the assignment in your Teams area. Once you've opened the assignment, make sure you've got the Pupil book open. I then need you to start to search for a few different types of cars. Do the first one obviously in the first page, which is going to be page 2. Screenshot the car that you've chosen. Put in the information such as the car make, the model, the colour, type of fuel and price. And once you're happy, move on and look for a different type of car. So pause this video now until you get to the 2 cars under £500 page. So you are going to need to find 2 cars that are under £500. Now to do this, you are going to have to use the search filters on the side here. In particular, this one here which says price. Now you may need to change other things as well. So for example, I've left my make and my model to any. So that allows me to have as many cars as possible. If I set my maximum price here, which is the lowest that can be set to is 1,000, then it's going to show me that there's 13 cars found. Now it might be the case that none of these are under £500. If you look here, look, 575 is the lowest so far. So I need to change my search options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the radius here, and I'm going to go for 40 miles all the way up to 100 miles. And straight away we found some cars. So I found one car there. If I keep on scrolling down, I'm sure as I go on to the other pages, I'm going to be able to find other cars. But there is a really quick way. What we can do is we can sort by the price being the lowest. And this should be on the top of either the AutoTrader website or the Parker's website. Now when I click on this sort price lowest, what it's going to do is it's going to show me the lowest price cars first. So you can see I've got a Volkswagen Passat here, which looks to be in a fairly bad state. I've got a Nissan Micra, and I've got a Renault Grand Modus, and I've got a few other cars. So I've got a few cars now that I can choose from. So what you will need to do is you need to screenshot that and put 2 different cars into your options here. Now you're going to do a similar thing in the challenge after that. The challenge after that is for you to find 2 cars over £50,000. And again, that'll be fairly easy for you to do. What you will need to do is set your minimum all the way up to 50,000. But you have to remember to remove this maximum limit first and to set the minimum so that it can go as high as you need. Okay, so again, you're going to be searching for 2 different cars. In the first instance, you're going to be looking for cheap cars under £500, and then once you've done that, you're going to be searching for 2 cars over £50,000. If you can now search for those cars, please. So just to recap, what I'm going to need you to do is search for 2 cars which are under £500. You will need to change the value of the cars you're looking for. You might need to change the distance from your postcode to include a wider range, and then find any two cars that you find that are under £500. Once you've completed that task, I'll need you then to change the filters and search for two cars over £50,000. Pause the video now and please complete the next task. Completed everything that I've asked you to do on the main search. Can you now look at the extension tasks? The extension task here on this on Moodle will basically open a PDF document, and there's 4 different scenarios here. So James has asked for a fast car. He wants to spend less than £10,000. I need you to search for what you think is a fast car that's under £10,000. Dave has asked for a large luxury car. He wants to spend no more than £40,000, but it must have satellite navigation. Now, I haven't told you much about this. This is where the extension task comes in. You're going to have to find out how to search for a car which has satellite navigation. There's going to be a criteria there somewhere. It may be that you'll have to read some of the listings that are on AutoTrader or Parker's. Richard and Judy have asked for a coupe. Now that's a certain type of car, so again you're going to have a look at that. And then Louise and John need a people carrier. They've got £8,000 to spend. So these now are a little bit more difficult, and you need to find the exact things that these people are looking for. So please pause the video now and complete the extension task.